Welcome back to Monetize Your Skills Academy. Congratulations. You have officially completed the first phase in this strategy. You have laid a firm foundation. You went through the first 4 steps in this framework, and I want to just congratulate you. If you have not taken action yet and have not completed those exercises, please make sure you go back and do that, because now we are moving on to phase 2. Phase 1 laid the foundation of how to make 6 figures. That's the first 4 steps. The last 3 steps now has to do with phase number 2, where we actually scale up, right, from 6 figures and beyond. This is where you can really make a big business out of your small business now. So I want you to really take this seriously, because if you implement, if you take the action, trust me, you're going to get the results, because results are hinged upon taking action. So I hope you're ready for module number 5. Get your notepad, whatever you're taking notes on, and let's get moving. So we have already covered now in phase 1. We went through steps 1, discover; 2, define, design, and deliver. This is to help you get your ideas, your skills, your gift, your talents out of your head and now into an actual product, program, or service. So by this point, you should have already created that. You went through those exercises, and I'm sure you have gotten some results. Now, in phase number 2, as we are ascending up, you can tell us now, what can we do to help you to get to the next level? Okay, if you want to contact us, please do so. You have the contact button on the page. Make sure you do that. Email us, but let us know. We want to help you to scale up your business. But this is why this next set of training is crucial, because this will actually give you the tools. For those who want to go deep dive, we can also help coach you on that. So we are now going to go through step number 5, which is to diagnose. Step number 6, distinguish. And step 7 is to deploy. Let's get right into it. Module number 5 now is all about diagnosing. This can be found in the book in chapter 8. So if you have the book, make sure you go to chapter 8, and we will be able to go through this. So this chapter deals with diagnosing. How do we test, assess, and tweak? So we've made progress. We've already delivered our products. Now it's time for us to pull back the lenses, look at it, because if we're going to scale up, we need to improve upon it, right? So that's what we're trying to do. There's always room for improvement. No matter how big your business becomes, there is room for growth. And so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to help you to ask assessment questions to figure out now what things you can do away with and what things you want to keep when it comes to your product, program, or service. And the top 3 areas where you definitely want to look at when it comes to now tweaking, testing, and so forth is we're going to be doing split tests, testimonials, and surveys, right? So what are these all about? Well, let's delve right into it. So you want to seek first to determine any defects in your deliverables, right? Any defects in your product, right? If you have an online course, are there any defects? If you made a book, you want to go back through the book now, because sometimes when you launch the book, you will discover, even after getting it edited, that guess what? There are a few errors in there or some things you want to change around and so forth. So it is time. This is where we do that. If you're delivering an online course, you might figure, I may not need this module, or students are complaining about this is not working. You might have a contact form, and let's say your team is not responding in a sufficient time. That is something now that we can tweak. It's just like going to the doctor, right? Before they give a cure or prescription, they must diagnose correctly, and if they can do a good diagnostic test, then we can have a good prescription. So you want to answer these questions. If you're going to diagnose properly, answer these particular questions. What procedures do I have in place to get feedback from customers? Do you have any procedures in place to collect that feedback? I.e., on your website, you can have a survey form. You can have an email form where you say, hey, fill out your email. Let us know. Fill out this box. Let us know, what we're doing good, what we're not doing good, or different things like that. If you go on Amazon, you will notice there's reviews, right? So that's another example. So you can ask for reviews from your website, through emails, through different types of things, right? If you're coaching in person, you can have forms that people fill out. I know when speakers go and give presentations, generally after the presentation, you will have an assessment form. That's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. So that is a procedure. So after each presentation, the customer, the listener, the audience, whatever, is going to get a form that they fill out to give feedback and so forth. You have to have the same thing in your business. So what can you use to collect feedback from your customers? There are several things. We talk about surveys. We talk about testimonials. On my website, what I like to use is, there's normally on the right-hand side, and you've seen it on this page. If you go to the home, if you click back on the home button, you will see right there on the welcome page and also on the contact page, there is a form where people can give a video review right there or give a video feedback. They can leave an audio message as well. So that's one of those examples. So how can customers share their reviews, testimonials, complaints about your stuff? So you want to ask them questions, right? Why should we ask this? Because even if people are dissatisfied with the product, the delivery, whatever aspect of your business, it is good to know that. So don't shy away from feedback. Feedback is good. Now, you have to learn to have a thick skin when it comes to this, because you might just have that one or two people who give you a bad review, bad testimonials, and generally we ignore all the other positive ones that we have. So go ahead. There are many tools and softwares that you can use for this. Just go into Google. You can type in review plugins, review software, different things like that. But generally, if you have Optimize Press installed, it does all of that for you. You can use many other different stuff. Just check on my page, strategicsecrets.com and monetizeyoursskills.com right here, and just look and see some of the tools that we are using as well. Now, another one is, do I regularly split test my landing pages, my copy, my emails, videos, my price points, features and benefits, etc.? If so, how do you do it? Here's what we mean by that. Split testing is where basically you are doing one or two versions of the same thing. So if you have a landing page, again, you should know that by now if you're following us, right? So let's say your sales page. On your sales page, you can have version A, version B. You send 1,000 clicks there or 1,000 customers, for example, and both pages, you will see which one outperforms the other. So you should always do that type of stuff. Copy the same way. You might have one call to action button that says buy now, another says add to cart. You might notice the add to cart is performing better than simply even just saying buy now. People may not like the word buy now. And that's if you notice also, Amazon has that strategy, by the way. Most of the Amazon stuff says add to cart. So you might want to say add to cart instead of buy now, right? People may not want to, hey, you buy, you telling me buy, I'm trying not to buy. But add to cart is saying the same thing. It's just not as strong. So emails are the same way. You can test your headlines. One email might say, hey, open right now. Another email may be saying, hey, have you seen this? Those are two different subject lines. It has the same email body in there, but you use a different approach. Price point, right? You can be selling something for $97 versus $99. So the difference between 7 and the difference between 9. Another thing could be $19.95 versus $19.97 versus $19.99. Different things like that. So you want to test your price point. Low points, mid points, high points. Some people might buy at, if it's a $99 product, another one is at $299, another one could be at $1,000. And you might be surprised. Sometimes the more expensive things are, is the more people will actually buy because of the perceived value. So it all depends. So you want to have different versions of your product, program, or service. Always create at least 2 to see which one is working better than the other. And then the one that's performing the best, that's the one you pretty much want to use. So again, you can try this with different fonts, different colors, all those kind of stuff kind of helps you to gauge what is performing best in your business. Next question. Do I have a team to communicate with users and keep them updated? That's exactly, especially if you have an online course, you start getting a lot of students and then it's difficult to keep up by yourself. You can't respond to everyone's email, but you have to have a team in place that can answer those questions. You can ask friends, you can have families, virtual assistants, right? So make sure you use that. And there's stuff like Zendesk and other things like that where, other people, you can have a firm that is doing all of that for you. So again, you can just search all of those on Google, search email communication tools or email communication coaching companies, different things along those lines. The reason we're telling you what to do here, but you have options, right? So because if I prescribe everything, some of it might be affiliate stuff and whatnot. And so we just want you to have the option of choosing which stuff is best for you and for your business. But nonetheless, you just need to have a team. If you can handle it, fine. If you're coaching, you have 10 customers and clients, then guess what? You probably can keep up with those on your own. But I just know that as you're scaling up, because this is where we're dealing with, once you start scaling, you have to stop doing a lot of the hands-on things in your business and focus on only the core activities. If you're a coach or trainer, you want to focus on just doing that aspect and let other people handle things that are technical, maybe responding to email, even probably making some phone calls, right? In the beginning, you have to do all of that, but to scale up, you might need to hire other salespeople to make sales calls for you and to close deals and so forth. So you have to begin thinking that this is the phase we're talking about, launching to another level. So don't try to stay at that level. Do you have a team? At some point, you're going to have to build one. Another question is, can my team effectively implement the recommended changes? So let's say people give you feedback. I need this new features in your book, in your course, in your product, in your coaching program. We want to have a better venue next year if you're doing retreats or, mastermind programs. People might say, well, we're tired of being in the U.S. Can we go to Bali? Can we go to, Hawaii or different places like that? So, but can your team actually implement whatever the feedback is given from the client or customer? You want to make sure that whatever that is, you have a team in place to make it happen, okay? Now, what tools and outsourced resources can be used or are available to render accurate diagnosis? So again, what tools can you use, right? We talk about that all the time. You don't need a lot of tools, don't get me wrong, but you have to have some kind of tools, okay? So in the email marketing, if you have a good email marketing software, program, or product like, let's say, Aweber, GetResponse, anything along those lines, these give you actually a lot of good information. For example, in all email marketing services, generally you will have stuff that measures your opt-in rates, your open rates, and click-through rates and stuff like that. So when you have that type of information, you're able to now to see, okay, I'm having so many people opt into my list, but only so many people are opening my emails, so many people are clicking, or maybe they are opening on certain days above others. These are the optimal times in which they're opening my email. That's kind of what we're talking about. So that's why I do recommend you don't want to just send emails from your Gmail account. At this point, you have to invest in an email service provider. Again, we list several of those, but you can have Aweber, GetResponse, SendLane, Infusionsoft. There are a ton of them, right? So just figure out the one that is best for you. Again, many people start off with MailChimp, right? The first 2,000 is pretty much free as far as email lists are concerned. Anything above that, then you have to pay a monthly fee. So you just start where you are. But all of them generally, some are of course better than the others, but all of them will give you this type of an information. And when you get that now, once you have all this type of information now, you can make a better diagnosis and you can begin to tweak your product, your service, your program, or whatever have you. You want to just make the deliverable better. And so the end user can actually have a better experience, and therefore they become a lifelong customer and they become someone who will give word of mouth testimonial on your behalf saying how good your stuff is. Now, when we tweak it now, we want to now get more focused, right? We want to figure out now, do I need to revise the market, the people that I'm reaching? Because you might notice that you create your product, but only a certain segment of the population or market mix is buying your stuff. So this is where we want to figure out now, not only do I need to tweak my product, but do I actually also need to make some adjustments into the ideal customer? Do I need to switch up my avatar? So now exactly who will implement your changes, your revision, and so forth, that still has to do with your team, right? But all throughout this stuff, you're going to realize there are changes to be made in every aspect of the business, from the ideation to product development to outsourcing to marketing to sales. All of these are different areas you have to look at. Now it might sound plenty, but hey, do you want to scale up? Remember the first 4 steps. You can comfortably make 6 figures there if you keep working that. But the reality is, to get to the next level, just think about it. Come on, we have to get more excellent and better at what we do. Now, what key metrics will you now use to know for certain how you are performing? Again, if you have a good email software, email provider, you will have a lot of key metrics. If you're doing Facebook ads has a lot of wonderful information there, key metrics that will measure stuff. You will know how your ads are performing, how many people are clicking, how many people are you reaching, and so forth. You will see your ad spend. So based on reaching 10,000 people, this is how much money I spend. So now you can say, do I want to scale up? Do I want to cut back? Different things like that. So those are the things that you have to know. Metrics: click-through rate, open rate, opt-in rates, conversion rates. Those are some of the main key things that you need to look at in your business. Now, what new edition, therefore, now will you come out with? What will it look like? If you have a book, do you want to update the cover? Do you want to create a new DVD cover? Do you want to create some new graphics? Like, as you see, this is Monetize Your Skills Academy 2.0, right? We have improved upon the look and feel of the course. We have upgraded the graphics, right? There we go. We have upgraded some of the videos. So that's what we are talking about. So, and then you roll out the 2.0. That's another thing. What will it be called? So you might have, just like movies, right? You have part 1, part 2, but you want to call it something different. So what new thing will you call it? Like I said, for me, Monetize Your Skills Academy 2.1, 2.0, 2.3. So that's kind of how we work on that. But if I'm doing a book, I can come out with, once I update it significantly, then I probably would want to give it a different name or something like that. So this can be like Monetize Your Skills Blueprint, Monetize Your Skills, something. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm saying, is that just think about, do you have to call it something new, something more strategic, something that will sell, or just switch the name altogether? So for example, in a few years, we might just abandon Monetize Your Skills and call it something else if that is a better sales position. Okay. Now, what new features and benefits will you have? When we rolled out 1.0 of this course, of course, we didn't have a whole lot of things in there, but now we have a lot of new features. One of the benefits and the attractive things about this new feature, which also help us to price at a higher point, is that now we help people. We have the 100-day program that we attach to it, where we can coach you in implementation for 100 days and help people to get better results. So, but because more of our time is involved there now, then we can also charge a little bit more for that, and people appreciate that as well. Okay. Features and benefit should be, what other features and benefits should also be discarded. So while you're adding, there's some things that need to also go away, right? Some people may not like this aspect of the course. Some people may not want this aspect of the book. So you might just say, the book was too big. Let's make it smaller. Or if you're coaching, consulting, mastermind, then you can say, we're not going to no longer do 4 retreats a year. Maybe we'll just do 2. See, different things like that. Speaking engagement, you might say, well, I'm going to stop this year. I'm not going to speak to this segment of the market, or I'm going to do it with these clients because they don't pay on time, stuff like that. So what I'm saying is, just think, because these principles apply to any business model, any industry that you're trying to do. You just got to figure out what works for you. So the idea, again, whatever the features and benefits are for your product, your program, or your service, which one should be added and which one should be taken away. I think if you do that, you will have a product that people can be proud of, and then we can move on to step number 6.